The Wise Owl and the Squirrel Story. The lush green forest. The forest stretched far and wide, its towering trees forming a thick canopy that filtered the golden sunlight into gentle beams. Birds chirped melodiously from the treetops, their songs blending harmoniously with the rustling of leaves in the cool breeze. A bubbling brook snaked through the land, its crystal-clear waters reflecting the vibrant hues of the flora surrounding it. The scent of fresh earth and blooming flowers filled the air, painting a picture of pure serenity. Amid this paradise, a young squirrel named Rico darted from branch to branch, his tiny paws barely making a sound as he leaped effortlessly through the trees. His fur was a rich shade of auburn, his eyes bright with the spark of youth and mischief. Every day was an adventure for Rico, chasing butterflies, playing hide-and-seek with his friends, and gathering a few nuts only when he felt like it. Life was easy, and the thought of anything changing never crossed his mind. Above, in the tallest oak tree that stood like a guardian over the forest, an old owl named Orion sat perched on a thick, sturdy branch. His feathers were a mixture of silver and brown, his golden eyes wise and knowing. Orion had watched the seasons pass, had seen creatures come and go, and understood the rhythm of life better than any other animal in the forest. As he gazed down at Rico, he saw a reflection of many young creatures he had observed before, carefree, happy, but unaware of what lay ahead. The sun cast a warm glow over the forest, bathing everything in hues of gold and orange. Rico, after a morning of playful antics, found himself near Orion's great oak. Spotting the owl resting with his eyes half closed, Rico scampered up the tree, his curiosity piqued. "Orion, why do you always sit here so still and quiet? The world is full of excitement. Come down and play with me." Rico's voice was filled with boundless enthusiasm as he flicked his bushy tail. Orion opened one eye slowly, a small smile playing on his beak. "Ah, my young friend," he said in a deep, soothing voice, "the world is indeed wonderful. But tell me, have you ever thought about what lies ahead?" Rico tilted his head, confused. "What do you mean? The sun is shining, the trees are full of food, and I can run and play all day. Why worry about anything else?" Orion nodded thoughtfully. "Yes, today is bountiful, but the seasons change, little one. Have you ever considered what will happen when winter arrives?" Rico chuckled and waved a tiny paw. "Winter? That's so far away. When it comes, I'll just find food then. It won't be a problem." Orion sighed softly, his wise eyes looking deeper into Rico's carefree heart. "Ah, my young friend, let me tell you a story. The Tale of the Two Squirrels." Orion cleared his throat, adjusting his position on the branch as he began his tale. "Long ago, in this very forest, there lived two squirrels much like yourself. One was lively and playful, just like you, while the other was thoughtful and careful. The playful squirrel spent his days having fun, never worrying about tomorrow. The careful squirrel, however, spent his time gathering food, storing away nuts and seeds, while still making time to enjoy the beauty of the forest." Rico, now intrigued, leaned forward. "So, what happened to them?" The days passed, and soon the warm sun gave way to chilly winds. The trees shed their leaves, and the sky turned gray. Winter arrived, covering the ground with a thick blanket of snow. The playful squirrel, realizing too late that he had no food, scurried through the frozen forest searching for something to eat. But the trees were bare, and the ground was too hard to dig through. Rico's ears twitched, his playful demeanor fading slightly. And the careful squirrel? The careful squirrel was safe and warm in his burrow. his storage filled with food. He did not have to search for food in the harsh cold. He had prepared for it. The playful squirrel, however, had to beg for food from others, learning a hard lesson about planning ahead. Rico sat quietly, tapping his tiny paws against the tree bark. "So, you're saying if I don't collect food now, I might be in trouble later?" Orion smiled. "Exactly, little one. Enjoy the present, but always prepare for what lies ahead." The first signs of change, weeks passed, and soon the vibrant greens of the forest faded into warm hues of orange, red, and yellow. The air grew cooler, and the days became shorter. Rico began to notice that the berries he once plucked so easily were becoming scarce. The strong winds carried leaves away, and the once lively forest became quieter as animals prepared for winter. One morning, as Rico scurried to his usual foraging spots, he found that many of them were empty. Panic set in. He looked around, noticing other squirrels carrying food back to their burrows. Rabbits dug deeper into their dens, birds gathered twigs for insulation, and even the busy ants worked tirelessly. He sprinted back to Orion's tree. "Orion, help! I don't have enough food. What should I do?" Orion watched him calmly. "I warned you, little one, but there is still some time. Work quickly, gather what you can, and store it safely." Rico nodded, determination lighting up his eyes. He raced through the trees, picking up every nut and berry he could find. But time was slipping away, and winter loomed closer. A hard lesson. Learned the first snowfall came like a quiet whisper, covering the forest in a white blanket. Rico shivered, his fur puffed up against the cold. He hurried to his favorite spots, but they were buried under ice and snow. His stomach growled in hunger, and regret filled his heart. He whispered to himself, "I should have listened to Orion." Desperate, he made his way back to the great oak tree. Orion, seeing the young squirrels struggle, opened his hollow home. "Come, Rico. You may share my food for now, but next year you must prepare on your own." Rico sighed in relief, his gratitude evident. "I promise, Orion. I will be ready next time." The new beginning. When spring arrived, Rico was a changed squirrel. The lessons of winter stayed with him, and as soon as the first buds blossomed, he began preparing. He collected food daily, balancing work and play. Orion watched with pride. "You have learned well, young one." And so, Rico became one of the wisest squirrels in the forest, always remembering that a little preparation today could make all the difference tomorrow. Moral of the story: planning for the future ensures survival and success. Enjoy the present, but always prepare for what lies ahead.